Hi everybody, good afternoon. It's Tips at 2. Juliet here, and today I haven't got a model today. I'm going to just work on paper because I'm going to paint some leaves, all sorts of different sorts of leaves, well, as many as I can get through really. I just find that so many people just, they do their usual roses and they nearly always do the same leaves, the same one-stroke leaves. They always go round a rose or something. And, my ethos within the Facade Academy has always been to teach more skills. So not just to do the same thing. I don't just say, look, here's my flowery design, copy this. My ethos has always been to encourage people to, push the boundaries a little bit and do something different. That's what I think is more important. I don't know about more important, but it is important just to be you and to be a bit different. And that's how you can, make yourself different and raise the bar and, get yourself to be one of the better painters, I hope. That's always my aim. There's thousands of, good, decent, mediocre painters out there, but if you can be one of the better ones, it will stand out. So it's being bold, it's being brave to do something a bit different. So I've been out for a walk this morning. So in here we've got some oak leaves. I've got some grasses as well, because they're really beautiful to paint. Different grasses. This is hawthorn. Look at the different shaped leaves. This is bindweed. It's gone rather kind of floppy, but I love the shape of those leaves. Bamboo. I've got a sort of mini bamboo in my garden, so they're lovely to paint. I've got some ivy. So it's really encouraging you to sort of look. Oh look, I've got some roses in my garden at the moment, and these are some rose leaves. I picked some wheat while I was out there. Some lavender from my garden, more roses. This thing, I'm not quite sure what it is. I think it might be a dogwood of some sort, not too sure. Some pine thing. I don't know what this is, but I love the leaves there, skinny opposites. What have I got here? I can't remember what that was. Anyway, so lots of weeds, basically. I was sort of hedgerow weeds. I think this was possibly elderflower. Anyway, so what I urge you to do is to go out, take a walk. Oh, that's willow. I know there's lots of different willows, but it's just one sort. And notice, just observe how this has got serrated edges on the leaves. Look at the ivy, and you can see how it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 radiating veins, main veins. And that's relatively easy to paint, so I'll show you. I think I'll show you that because it's very easy to do ivy. So we'll have that one. I thought we'd do the bamboo because that's fun and it's a slightly different method. Let's see about that. Oak leaves are quite fun to do, so I might have a go at those as well. Just cause chaos here, and we'll see about the bindweed. Oh yeah, there's some little bits I did earlier, just playing around. And also it's quite fun getting different colours in action as well. So, I mean, I've got a whole load of greens and a lot of different one strokes as well. Some I've made, that one's lovely actually. It's called Cucumber. It's a DFX one. It's a good idea to have some red handy. This is just an old one of a dark green and a kind of goldy one. What's this one called? I think that's, oh yes, that's Naughty Fairy. So it's you know, sort of unusual. Good idea to have some browns. I've got this other sort of dark red, another brown, and obviously some black and white. So lots of different colours, and that's quite fun to have as well. Let's start with an oak leaf. Oaks are they're funny things. You'll see they're not symmetrical, so which makes them quite fun to paint. Yeah, so they're slightly different each side. These are quite small, so they're quite fun to do. But again, it's noticing how they've obviously got, you know, rounded tips, but also notice that there's convex and concave, so it's round, 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 and you can do it very randomly. So let me show you a bit of that. What should we choose? I'll take a one stroke. Let's have a go with this Cucumber. Oh, it's Cucumber Rage, is it, Suzanne? Right, okay. And when I'm doing one strokes, I always have a little cloth handy. So I've got my water beside me, and as I've said, you know, you must start to actually notice the difference in each leaf, and once you've got the hang of this, you know, and start to paint different ones, it will become part of your normal repertoire. So let's do I always like to start with the stem. You know, maybe a couple. I could have one there and one there. And also each plant, you'll notice how they grow differently. So these, the way the leaf comes out, they're not dead opposite. They're slightly staggered each time. And that's different on each plant. For instance, this one, they grow directly each side, yeah, but funnily enough they're staggered. So this is on a plane there, and as I get further up I have to twist, and now it's on the plane there, and then here it's back that way. So that's interesting. Not noticed that one before, but there we go. Oh, and do you notice the veins on this one? They're so beautiful. They're all curved. That's a lovely thing to do. I just love looking at leaves and then playing around with them. Okay. Where's it gone? There it is. Let's have a go at doing something with this. So, you'll notice it's narrower at one end, then it gets quite broad about 2/3 of the way up. So I start not with the whole surface, the whole chisel edge, but I'm going to do just a little bit. And then a bigger round piece. I've got the whole lot in action now. I might just sort of fill that in, blend it in there a bit. And then we just carry on up. Have some bigger ones. There we go. And just wiggle your way, because they are random and they're all different. And then use the heel of the brush, maybe a bit more water, and just fill that in. And again, I mean, again, I like to vary the different greens. This isn't strictly, you know, oak leaf colour, but it's quite fun. Let's just do another one. Let's take one up here. So again, start on the tip, so I lift the heel up in effect. I haven't actually done a centre stem on this one. And as you get more confident, you won't have to. Just turn the page slightly. Do a big one there. It's curves and curves. And with oak leaves, they sometimes finish staggered. So that's finished there, that's quite normal. I'm going to stick a line. And you can draw a line with the toe of these brushes, the longer end. Okay, now they do have little veins coming from the from the tip of each lobe, so you can put those in if you want, and they obviously finish towards the center. But if you haven't got time, don't worry, because it looks distinctly like an oak anyway. Okay, so that's that little one. Now let's get a different green and we'll have a go at the ivy. Here's some ivy. So I love these, and they do vary. I mean, there's lots of different sorts of ivy, of course. And some are variegated, as you know, so that means that they've got a maybe a white edge all the way round. So if you've got a different kind of cake that's got a lighter edge, that's quite fun to do. I mean, something like this. And of course, you know, we're artists, we can do what we like. We can make things up. I'm just wondering what this would be like. Interesting. So let's just have a go. I'm just going to play because I like to do that. So here we go. I'm going to do my ivy with this. So it's got some yellow on the outside, but it's quite a lot of green. So remember, ivy. So let's take its stem. And then you'll notice that the vein, each vein starts at that point. So it comes out to there, to there, to there, and to there. So, and you'll see that the length of this one is probably about 2/3, well, should I say that one is about 2/3 the size of that. And that one again is 2/3 the size of that. So approximately. So, you know, have a look at it carefully. Start learning to observe, and it will help you paint them. So I'm going to put a long bit there. So I've got yellow here, that's fine. And then each side, because it's got, as I say, 5 lobes. So these are going to be, these ones beside it are going to be about 2/3. So they again come down to there and to there. And then this one shorter again, and probably angled sort of away a bit more, like that. Okay, so having got those the bones in, if you like, the ribs, I want to see what this is actually like. Let's try it here. Oh, well, why not? Yeah, it'd be fun, won't it? As I say, you can do any colours you like. It's quite fun. Right, so now we're going to start below that rib, because that rib there is kind of in the centre. So I'm going to come below it, there, back down to there, and then out to this one, and then going to end up at that point in between the two, and then back out to the longest one. I'm going to turn my brush. So that's the shortest one. And let's do this one there, and that one like that. So it's a vague one. There we go. As I say, you can make the veins with the tip. Okay, let's do one in a slightly different colour this time. In fact, I'll use the other end. I'll use, let's edge it in a darker colour. This is a homemade one, by the way. So we've got the longest one, 2/3, 2/3, and shorter still. Okay, so you finish it in between the two legs, if you like, and then keep your heel on the center line, and then back down the other side, tilting out, keeping your heel on the center line. See, it's finished in between the two. I'll show you on that one. That's where I want to finish, and that's where I want to finish. Yeah, so I'll start from here, head up and back down the other side, keeping the heel in the center. Give it a little wiggle as you go round. Finish there, back out, and do this one as well. There we go. And these kind of five lobed leaves are very common, you'll find. So that's another one. Now let's use some different brushes this time. So I'm going to show you some bamboo. Bring that right down there. Now for the bamboo, I'm just going to use a number 6. Okay, nice pointy number 6 you need. Now bamboo, the stems are dead straight. They might, yeah, they're basically dead straight. This is, you know, there's lots of varieties. This is a sort of miniature one from my garden. But again, I love noticing how they grow. There's one leaf here, and then there's a big gap. Then there's one off to the left, and then to the right, and then left, right, and then a stick coming out the top. So there's 4 at the top here and 1 randomly there. If I look at the next leaf along, this one, it's the same thing. There's one down here, big gap, another one, and then these 4 are close. And again, same thing, 1 there and 4 at the top, which I've never noticed before. But this is just, I know it seems silly, but it's fascinating. Now, when you do your bamboo stem, you must have it very straight. In places like China and so on, they actually use bamboo for scaffolding. It's dead straight. It really is. So I'm going to use this, actually, this is my Rosemary Co 366. Beautiful pointy brush. And we're going to take some kind of lighter green. Okay. Now the stem is, what I could do is do, you know, the switch swipe, which I may have shown you, some of you before. Oh yeah, I've got it there. So what I'm going to do is just prepare my second colour. So when I switch swipe, I mix up one green there, and then the dark green. So I'm going to swipe my brush through the second colour, which I have prepared. So that's all nice and creamy, not just wet, but creamy and ready to go. So now back to my first brush, the pointy one, which is great for bamboo. So I load up, making it wet enough, with my light green, take off the excess, and then just swipe one side through the dark green, so it's just one side of the brush. will have the dark green, so you can see light on one side, dark on the other. And because I've just swiped through, it's actually flattened the bristles slightly, so that when I turn it halfway, you can see the sharper point. And that means when I draw that along, you'll have dark on one side, light on the other. I'm actually going to turn the page, have a fresh page. Okay, there we go. So I have a nice long straight bamboo, so I'm going to use my little finger, and I do this on a person as well, so good straight line. There's a kind of little mark there, another straight line where the join is, and so on. So I'm going to put one little leaf about here. And so the leaves on bamboo are dead straight, they're not curvy. Okay, so I'm going to start on a very sharp point, then gradually press, hold it there, and when I get near the end, lift right up and a join. You see how there's two colours there. And then we're going to take, the next one is going to be over here, slightly different angle. So again, it's very thin point, press down. When you join, lift to the tip. You can see there's still two tones there, so I'm just going to load up with a bit more light green and a bit more dark green. We're going to take, I'm going to turn the page slightly. Let's have one coming out. So they're staggered, remember? So the next one is going to join about here. So it's again a thin point, press down, reach there, back to the tip where it joins. Another one here, I'm going to cross over. So thin, press down. As soon as you get very close, link in. And a slightly different angle, this one's going to be just above as well. So thin, press down. Okay, it ended up being below that one. That'll do. That's kind of what they look like. So there's bamboo done with switch swiping. So practice that. Which one should we do next? Well, I'll tell you what would be really fun. Oh yes, why don't I show you some rosemary? Each little piece is fairly straight. So I'm going to use, because I've noticed that it's not super thin. So what I'm going to do is use one of my brushes that has not got the sharp chisel edge, because I want it a bit thicker. So this one is, okay, it's dry, but you might be able to see that there's a lot more bristles in this one. I mean, it's got a pretty good chisel edge. Let's try this one instead, actually. This is actually a Nat's Fancy Faces, and that's definitely thicker at the end. So what I'm going to do now, look at this rosemary. It's actually got a really pale stem, and every inch or so is where the leaves come from. So there's a little node, a growing node, every inch or so. So let's do that first. So I'm going to get quite a light colour. I'm going to use just a one stroke, because it's got a few colours in it, just quite a light yellow. So let's take that. So I'm going to press quite firmly with this, because I want a sort of thickish stem. There we go. Now I'm going to get this thing can you see how, even though I've wet it, it's actually got a gap in the middle? And sometimes you can use that to your advantage. Let me show you how we can. So I'm going to load it with, I'm going to sort of mush it up. Actually, I think I want it a bit more olivey. Let's use this cucumbery one. I know I've mucked it up with some other colours, but I'm not too bothered, because when you're painting leaves, it's quite a good idea to do it sort of more naturally. But that's maybe too dark, so I'm just going to swipe it through that. Right, okay, so let's, now watch. If I just do a print with that, can you see it actually makes a gap in the middle? Which is rather fascinating. So sometimes I use that to my advantage. You know, you can literally do shapes like this. But I think that will work quite well for the leaves. So about every inch or so is where the plants, the leaves come from on the rosemary. So let's do that. Just wanted it thicker than a normal thin, you know, thin one. Should they curve more like that? Make sure you get some in the front as well, so they're not just at the sides. And interestingly, this doesn't get much smaller at the end. I suppose it does, because at the base here they've got a little stem and then, you know, 6 or 7 leaves, and at the top here they've only got kind of 2 or 3 on each. So yeah, so let's, they seem to sort of swing outwards, don't they? But this one's actually got more on it here. There's a few more leaves on the lower ones. I've got some sticking out there. But so, as I say, this brush, because it's slightly thicker, unlike, you know, the really sharp chisel edge ones, which I use mainly, but this has, it comes into its own, hence why I have quite a few in my kit. There we go. So there's a bit of rosemary. How are we doing? Let's, what else? What else? What else? So I've done 3 already, haven't I? 4 even. What's this one like? Now this one is sort of more, you know, every leaf shape has its name. This is that's interesting. That's got a piece missing there. Don't know if that's normal on these. I think this is elder, as in elderflower. But they're in pairs. Smaller there, bigger, and that's the biggest one at the end. So try and get try to get a little bit of realism, so it's not always the same. It just, by just being aware of, you know, I'll do a smaller, bigger when you do your leaves, it's much more fun. Let's see if we can do one here. So the brushes, well, I've always loved Rosemary & Co. 310s, and then the face painting hub, also the Verona. They're very similar. So as long as you've got a nice chisel edge, that's what I like. But then the one where I had the fatter one was a Nat's Fancy Faces. That was a 1/2 inch, and that's the one that's got the gap. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, it has, and it creates this strange shape, and you can really use it to your advantage. Do pretty shapes with it. Love doing that. Almost makes strange pine cones, or maybe it's more like, I don't know, a fern perhaps. Anyway, that's quite fun. So play with your brushes. That's what it's all about. I think that's enough for today. So what I should have said is that any of you who want to learn more, I teach everything really in the fan club. It's not just face painting, but I teach the business as well. Let's turn this around. So yeah, I teach face painting business. I teach everything you need really for face painting. So yes, if you want to know a lot more, then just come and join the fan club. It's a monthly fee. There's also a most wonderful family community feel. It's buddy groups and things, so it's really friendly. It's lovely. It's a proper club, but with lots and lots of learning. So I teach every month. Sorry, I don't. I teach every week, and do lots of extra lessons as well for people. Lots of personal stuff. But anyway, so that's enough of leaves for today. I hope you've enjoyed what I've shown you. I hope it, yeah, just try and go and pick some leaves, observe them, sketch them, and then work out how you can paint them in the fewest possible strokes. I do classes I've done lots of classes on flowers and on leaves and you know, things like wheat, how to do wheat quickly, all that kind of stuff. So lots of things. Thank you very much, and I'll see you when I see you next month. Remember, it's Tips at 2 is always the first Tuesday in the month. Okay, thank you. Bye.